Kלים Perikei Mishnah Zayin. Tanur shenitma keitzad matarin oisoi. Remember, a tanur is this kli cylindrical object, an oven, sits on the ground, stuck to the ground, and it also has a layer of a tefela around it, a layer of mud which is stuck around the outside to keep it warm. After you make the oven and put the layer of mud, stick it to the ground, you then do a hesek, which is gomer the kli, you heat it up. Now it's a kli cheres, it's a tanur which is mekabel tumah. But how do you turn it into a shever tanur? Ois kli cheres, ois tanur, it becomes tor. Says the Tanakama, chol koilish loisha. You split it into three. We're talking about a vertical split. So you take your circle, the tanur circle, and you split it in three places, creating three sections. Each section is less than 50%. So into equal thirds is fine, anything similar, as long as each individual piece is not more than 50%. You split it into three, all the way down. V'goyrer es atfela, and you scrape off the layer of mud around the outside. Ad sheyehei ba'oretz. There's different ways of learning this. The easiest way of learning this is the second pshat of the Bar Tanura. This is going back to the words chol koi lishloisha. You split it down the middle. How far down do you split? Do you break the oven? All the way down. The split must go all the way down to the ground. Plus you go to the tefela around the outside. Remeya omer eine tzorech ligoris hatfela. You don't have to take off this. You don't have to scrape off the mud around the outside at all. Even if you leave the mud there. V'loy ad shehei ba'aretz, and the splits that you do don't have to go down to the ground. Elo memata mibefnim, you crack it on the inside, arba'ot tfachim, all the way down until you don't have a whole section which is 4 tfachim high from the ground till where the crack stops. Because Rameir l'shitose at the beginning of the Perek, you can go back if you remember, Rameir says, Tano t'chilose arbo u'shiorov arbo divir Rabbi Meir. As long as the shiraim, the piece, the whole piece, is less than 4 tfachim, then you have your broken tanur. Rabbi Shimon Omer v'tzorech l'hasiyoi. He agrees, but he adds a little bit more. He says it's not good enough just to crack it open. You've actually got to physically move the pieces away from each other, loosen them, and break them off from each other. Back to the basic din of the Mishnah, instead of breaking it into three, you broke it into two. Chil kodesh shnayim, take an oven, you just do one crack and another crack. So now you have two pieces. One is, let's say, a little bit more than 50%, and one is less than 50%. Echad godel, vechad cotton. Hagodel Tomei, the bigger one is Tomei, because now the bigger one has a roiv of the circumference of the tanur, and the bigger piece is called a tanur and is mekabel tumah. Cotton Torah, the smaller piece, which is less than 50%, is a shivri kli cheres and is toher. Chilka lishloisha, going back to the case of the Reisha, you split into three, but now instead of doing three pieces, where each piece is less than 50%, echad godel kishnayim, one of the pieces is as big as the other two. In other words, one piece is more than 50%, and the other two together make up up to, let's say, up to 49%. Then hagodel tomei, because it has the roiv. Shnayim hakatanim tohirin, the two smaller pieces are toir. The sheretz is hung in their airspace, in their toich of the smaller pieces. Those pieces are not mekabel tumah. However, the sheretz is hung in the toich of the bigger piece. Then the tanur is still, that bigger piece is still mekabel tumah.